Good afternoon. Thank you for that nice and long introduction. And dignitaries on the dais, the senior officials of senior office bearers of NIQR, the delegates, the sponsors, the participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must say that I am very impressed and happy for many reasons, because this is the second day, the fifth session, and it looks like 100% attendance, which talks about how well this particular event has been organized. This session, we're going to talk about, in the theme, Rise of India Towards Global Excellence. This session, we're going to be focusing on how exports have happened in India and what is the success story of the export organizations. We have three speakers. One is Mr. Ravi Shankar, who is the JMD of Super Auto Forge. Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy, who is the founder and MD of Aerospace Engineers. And Mr. Murugayan Amrithalingam, Associate Professor, joining an Additive Manufacturing Laboratory, IIT Madras. Now, I have a very, very pleasant task of speaking a little bit about what these people have done so that I'll be able to set a context. Now, when you look at India's export, in the last year, we've ended up with about $450 billion. We're growing by about 6 to 8%, $450 billion. And our import roughly is about $800 billion. Now, Indian products have not been very well accepted in many parts of the world, but these are entrepreneurs who made sure that there is excellence in the products that they make, and the repeatability of the orders are there, and they're making the Indian export flag fly high. What are the products that we export? We export gems and jewelry, petroleum products, pharmaceutical products, organic chemicals, machining and mechanical appliances, vehicle parts and accessories, cereal preparations, and some miscellaneous products, and then rice. But the import list is a little deeper. We import a lot of crude petroleum, gold, coal, briquettes, diamonds, petroleum gas, electronic goods, pearls, precision and semi-precision stones, artificial resin, plastic materials, and vegetable oil. So, Government of India wants the export to go up, and here are some success stories. Now, to introduce you, the speakers, one common thread that I found between Super Auto Forge and aerospace is their people-centric approach. They spent a lot of time on their recruitment, a lot of time on retainment. I'm going to be touching upon this point when I introduce. The other one is they've been socially responsible. They made sure that they don't pollute the environment. Now, on to Super Auto Forge, who's going to be your first speaker. It was established in the year 1975, and in the past 4 decades, it's growing steadily and is one of the most successful component manufacturers in India. Today, Super Auto Forge is the largest manufacturer of cold and warm forged components in India. In certain components, like the aluminum braking components, SAF is one among the top 3 global players. It's a very strong technology-driven company, does not have any collaboration. There's a lot of R&D that they do, and has its own dedicated in-house R&D. It also has a state-of-the-art tool room. Their people initiatives to bring about TEI is enormous, including taking some of the company staff or their family and their children to various places. They bond with the family, and they also offer scholarship for many of its employees. It's a very, forging, as you know, is a very power-intensive sector. And you'll be very happy to hear that 70% of the power that they consume is from solar or from wind energy. So thank you, Mr. Ravi Shankar, for being so socially responsible. We have another speaker from the aerospace, and Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy. Now, way back in 2000 or early 2000, we wouldn't have even thought about doing a part for aerospace. The number of flights landing in India was very few in 90s and 80s, and many people would walk to the airport to see the aircraft. But here's a gentleman who thought, why can't I make products of international quality in the aerospace industry? I've heard him before, and you're going to find it a big, big treat in listening to him. It's a leading manufacturer of a variety of rubber compound for the aviation, defense, and healthcare. It was established in 2000. It has emerged as the forefront as a quality supplier of high-precision parts, be it rubber, metallic, non-metallic, and composite, electromechanical LRUs, and missile subassemblies. So we're talking about a lot of rockets, subassemblies, missiles, all this in this NIQR conference. They have many verticals, key verticals, like high-precision machining, rubber and composite molding, testing facilities, surface treatment, system LRUs, and sub-assemblies. They actually leverage on the talent of hundreds of skilled engineers and subject matter experts. There are a lot of subject matter experts from DRDO, ISRO, IIT, and HAL. Some of the operational highlights are they have a world-class NABL certified in-house facility, development of 2,000 parts in compliance with various design validation programs, a highly experienced design team, and they provide clean environment for the process and people. These are two from the industry, and we have somebody from the academia, also from the industry. All that I can tell you is you're going to listen to him, Mr. Murugayan Amrithalingam. He's an assistant professor in IIT. To connect with what was told in the morning by the IIT Dean and Head, Mr. Kamakoti, he was mentioning about 3D printing Agnikul. Here's the man, Agnikul, the 3D printing and Agnikul. You have Mr. Tiagu with Sona Motors in Chandrayaan. You have a lot of delegates who would love to ask him some questions. He has, the professor, when I was asking him, tell me how many patents he has, he said, I have many, many. And I asked him, how many is many, many? And he said, it's more than 8 or 9. So he's got about 8 patents. And you'll all be delighted now. He got the Best Teacher Award in IIT Chennai. IIT is #1 in the world, and I mean in the country, and maybe in the world in some time now. But we're very honored to have your presence here. So you're going to have Agnikul, you're going to have aerospace a little below that, and then you're going to have the forging industry. And the forging industry, the aerospace, and the Agnikul will certainly make India's future bright. Thank you. May I now call upon Mr. Ravi Shankar to come and address the gathering.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm happy to be here to talk about our company Super Auto Forge's success in the export market. Every industry is unique, with a unique set of challenge and unique set of opportunities. So definitely there is no one formula or mantra for success. And I also believe that fortune also plays a very big role. Being in the right place at the right time, having the help and guidance of so many people along your journey. So I think rather than saying that, to give a formula, what I would like to do is to walk you through what are the things that we did. And I've kind of divided it into 3 phases: initial or the development phase, and then how we consolidated our export business, and in the 3rd phase, what we are doing and continue to do to grow in the export business. I am hopeful that there will be some takeaway for each of you that can be useful or implemented in your business. So before I share the experience, I would like to share with you one slide about the company. Mr. Shivakumar actually covered quite a bit, so I'm just going to cover whatever was not touched upon. First slide, please. So just one slide on the company, just to introduce the company. So we are the largest manufacturer of cold forged parts. Our company is into precision cold forging and precision warm forming. We are a leader in aluminum forging technology, one of the very few companies making aluminum forgings for, especially for automotive application. So we have 5 manufacturing plants, all in Chennai. As Mr. Shivakumar said, we have a very cutting-edge forging R&D and also a state-of-the-art tool room. So we make all our own forging tools in-house, development and manufacturing of tools. And for the forging technology, we do not have any collaboration. We develop our own forging technology. Those two, of course, are the heart of of the forging process, R&D and tool room. We are a 4-star export house. We have been exporting to North America and European OEMs for almost 2 decades now. To support our customers, we have an office and warehouse both in North America and in Europe. And we also have our own automation and machine building division to support our manufacturing activity. It's a captive division to support our manufacturing. As of last year, we had a sales turnover of about 1,350 crores. And this year, we hope to reach about 1,600 crores of sales. In terms of distribution, we are about 80%, close to 80% export, about 52%, 54% going to North America and another 25% going to Europe. The remaining, of course, is for domestic sales. And also in terms of product family, we are into 3 critical part families. Most of the cold forged parts are used in critical applications. So our parts go into braking applications, suspension applications, and drive shaft applications. So those are the 3 main, and also close to about 6% of our sales comes from non-automotive. We are about 94% automotive, 6% non-automotive. This is just a brief about the company. Before I start sharing the experience, just a broad gist of, before we enter into the export, we need to understand there are opportunities and threats. So I would just like to highlight some of the key opportunities. Of course, one is we have the exposure to the whole market, a new market with high volume opportunities, better margins, because when you do export, one of the advantage we have is the labor arbitrage. Compared to Western countries, our labor rates are much lower, so we definitely have a labor arbitrage, which results in better margins. There are also subsidies and incentives. In the form of incentives, we have duty drawback, road TEP, those kind of incentives. And similarly, subsidies in the form of, we have EPCG schemes which allow us to import equipment without duties, and also there is also interest subvention, especially for MSMEs. I'm not sure, a lot of people are aware, you get a 3% subvention on interest for your working capital. So those are all subsidies available. And I think the most important thing is that once we start catering to export market, there is an inherent upgradation of our technical and quality capabilities. So what happens is that we learn a lot and we have to adapt a lot. So our technical and quality capabilities increase. Everything has got plus and minus, so we also should be aware of the threats. One is that there's a high penalty for failure, whether it's delivery or quality issues. There is a heavy penalty. We have risk due to raw material currency fluctuations. There's also risk due to other external factors, like we had the COVID issue, we had the logistics issue where we had the container problems, then we had problems with the chip shortage, and so many other external risks are also there. And of course, global competition. Once we go into export market, our competition is not restricted to just domestic suppliers, but we have to compete with suppliers from China, other Asian countries, Mexico, Eastern European, and other LCC countries also. So now let me go into the SAF journey. So I'm just going to quickly walk through with our journey. What did we do? So in the initial or development phase, first thing is that you cannot be a jack of all trade. So we need to, especially when we are trying to enter, we wanted to make sure that we identified some niche parts and niche markets so that we can focus. So in our company, we started looking at aluminum components, especially for the braking industry. So that is what we said, that we will start with this, because we didn't want to go with too many things. We wanted to, so we did a lot of work and we said, okay, this is an area where there is opportunity. Let's focus on aluminum parts and especially target braking component industry, and we concentrated on North American market. That is where we started our journey. And then, of course, you need to generate a lot of contacts and frequently visit customers. So one of the way by which we generated contacts were through IPOs. So this phase of ours was somewhere probably in late 90s and early 2000. So we went through a lot of IPOs in the international purchasing offices. We created contacts. We attended a lot of trade fairs like Auto Mechanica and other trade fairs. And we generated a lot of contacts, and we used to make a lot of cold calls. So we used to go and visit customers very often, so that we keep knocking on their doors, so we want to be there when the opportunity is there. Initially, we also appointed agents or manufacturing representative. This was a very important stage for us, because we would have somebody locally present there who could be in touch with prospective customers on a very, very regular basis, who could talk the language, who could understand how the system works and guide us. So that was a very important step for us initially, is that we did not try to go directly. We did hire agents or representatives who could guide us and who could help us to understand the market, understand the customer, how they react, how they work. Proactively make samples. Probably this is one of the big thing we did, is that do not wait for orders, because the customer needs to see. He does not just want to only go with what you say. Seeing is believing. So the best way is that when you see that there is an opportunity or the customer is discussing with you, I think it helps a lot if you proactively on your own make samples and prove to the customer that you are capable of doing something. That really hastens the process. And of course, the next 2 points are invest on infrastructure and quality system. This is the chicken or egg. So if the customer, an export customer, wants to come so many miles and buy from you, he would definitely expect some level of infrastructure, some level of quality system. So I think companies should invest on infrastructure as well as quality systems to a minimum level or exceeding the minimum level, so that when the opportunity is there. So the reality is that when any customer comes, the first thing that is going to strike to them is your infrastructure. And when they walk through your plant, they are going to see your quality systems. You may have very good technology, you may have very good manufacturing process, but the two things that catch the eye first or the basic test would be your infrastructure and your quality systems. So it is very important to invest on it ahead of time. These are probably the things that we did prepare ourselves to get into the export market. Then I would go to the consolidation phase. This is where we started getting orders and started creating a business. First is, of course, APQP, which is a word which is used very frequently in the automotive industry. But what it means is engineering quality into your process. This is the most fundamental concept if we need to have a sustained success in export, not only export market, for domestic market also, especially export market, is we need to concentrate on engineering quality into process. So process cannot be separate, quality cannot be separate. Both needs to be integrated together. So by APQP, I'm talking about the two most important documents. I don't want to get too theoretical. That would be FMEA and control plan. So we put a lot of effort and how to engineer quality into the process so that we don't need to inspect or check quality. Quality should be inherent in the process. And the two things are, we did a lot of work on that. Next, dedicated program management. A lot of companies who entered export have also lost track or failed because they could not mean that you need to have an effective program management to communicate with the customers, to hit targets on time, and to push the team internally. There must be one voice of the customer inside your company if you need to succeed. So that would be a program manager who is like the voice of the customer, who will push the entire team to achieve targets, to maintain effective communication, and to hit all the milestones without missing. That gives the ultimate confidence to any customer is when we hit all milestones on time. Capable process and equipment. I think this is another important thing, is that we try to tailor our process around what we have. Our success will be limited. We need to make sure that we have the best process, best equipment in place to be successful. So that is also something we learned. We went for good equipment so that we have a good capable process. Of course, in early stages, having additional quality checks can never hurt, because we need to create reliability with our customers, and having additional checks never hurts. Packaging is also something that we need to pay focus, because you can make the best parts and ship it out of here, but when it reaches the customer, if it is not at the same level, whether it's a damage or a rust or whatever it is, we lose face and we lose credibility. And of course, when you're doing export, you need an effective logistics service provider to make sure that parts reach on time. And we need to have continued periodic visits to customer. Always getting the pulse of the customer in face-to-face meeting is very, very essential, because when you visit the customer, you will know many points which can be corrected, which would not become a future big problem that can be avoided. In the growth phase, what are things? Of course, when our business reached a critical size, to improve our service, we started our own office and warehouse so that we can provide better service to our customers. We also put in a more robust supply chain, both our suppliers as well as a robust logistics, so that to make sure that we have 100% adherence to quality and delivery. Internally, as the volume increase, we can't be doing the same way we do. So we have to have highly productive process, so we concentrate a lot on automation. We went to more lean manufacturing to cut down on inventory. Too much inventory is also a problem, and in exports, too less inventory can also be a big issue. So we need to maintain an optimum inventory so lean manufacturing was very, very important for us to make sure that we maintain an optimum inventory. High focus on error proofing and poke-yoke. Again, quality cannot be checked when you are doing high volume, and it needs to be part of your process. So we put in a lot of error proofing and poke-yokes. Traceability. At any point of time when you're doing export, there is going to be a lot of parts in the pipeline. So to have good traceability is very important, so that even if there is a problem, we can quickly recover with specific lots that needs to be quarantined or inspected. Engage with customer on concurrent engineering and VAVE workshops. This is very, very important, because the more we engage with customers, the more opportunities we get. So we started doing a lot of simulations for customers. We started making prototypes for customers. We started providing solutions to customers in the forging field, because our customers may be experts in braking or suspension or drive shafts, but we have expertise in forging. So we brought that to the customer to engage with customers. And also, we put a lot of effort to move up the value chain. We did not stay as just a forging company or a machining company. We said we will work with customers to absorb technology as high-end machining, heat treatment, surface treatment, sub-assembly. Whatever the customer needs as value addition, we were ready to absorb, invest, and grow along with the customer. So I think my time is also up. I will conclude. The conclusions are nothing but critical points from whatever I've already presented. So I guess to summarize, identify niche products market as entry strategy. Constant communication, program management is essential for early success. A very capable manufacturing and quality system is a must and should be maintained at all times. Established a robust logistics and supply chain is even more important in export business. Collaborate with customer to provide value-added service. Wherever there is opportunity, we should be able to add the service and absorb and be ready to invest in new technology to move up value chain. These are all the things that we did to grow and to reach wherever we have reached till now. As I said, I hope some of these points may be helpful for you as you embark or continue your journey in export. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just heard Mr. Ravi Shankar speak about how the company forged ahead. To start on a lighter vein, let me start with saying that if you know the secret or the art of forging connections, there are only two ways where you forge connections. One is love them or hate them. So that's the lighter vein. But yeah, you want to say something?
The other lighter vein that we do is that we are in the wrong forging business.
You're in the wrong forging business, but the right one. So usually if you look at a company's growth or a success story, it will definitely have a great amount of strategy. Here's this company which had the strategy because they clearly understood what is required in the growth phase, what is required in the consolidation phase, and finally, the growth phase, the initial phase, the consolidation phase, and the growth phase. And when you want to know what you do in a particular phase, it is important to understand it is not what you do, but what you prefer not to do. So here, they clearly defined what they are not going to do. The initial phase, they not thought about many components. They had enormous amount of focus. They built inner strength. And then when they looked at consolidation phase, they looked at internal consolidation. Could be APQP timing plan, could be dedicated program managers, a great initiative because that man is going to be the voice of the customer. And then many of the problems could be solved internally. They had a capable process and equipment. And then finally, they looked at how much to get closer. They were meeting customers regularly. They had opened up warehouses. They had opened up offices abroad. They had, error-proofing, poke-okay, traceability, and more importantly, they had the wave where VAV, where they connected with the customers and had their workshop. They understood that sometimes prototyping can be done even before the customer has released a purchase order. These are real first in any automobile industry. And they've also de-risked by saying so much percentage of exports, so much of local supplies, and also focusing on non-automobile supplies. So thanks, Mr. Ravi Shankar, for such a lovely presentation, and also ensuring that it was very clear to the audience. Okay, thank you. Now, if there was a forging industry, there's somebody who's flying, the aerospace. So let me call upon the aerospace MD to please come and deliver.
Good afternoon, my dear friends. Thanks NIQR for providing me this opportunity. And it's a great time for me. Particularly, I want to thank the General Secretary, Mr. Cherian. He personally came to me and he invited long back. And really, it's a wonderful occasion, and thanks again. Thank you. And here I want to say something about my journey of 35 years. I think as President mentioned, 2000, yes, of course, 2000 I created other divisions. I started my venture in the year of 1988. 88 I started making only rubber parts for the aeroplanes. And initial days of 3 years, we are all working for the industrial segment like BHL, NTPC, ONGC, like that, power and oil sectors. Unfortunate for me, I met my God in my field. I think my field is a small field of aerospace and defense. I met my God in the year of 1991 at Bengaluru, June 18th. I'm talking about Dr. Kalam. I was with Dr. Kalam for 7.5 years. And he only provided me an opportunity to enter into aerospace. And the initial phases of 2-3 years, frequently monitoring the product and all, when he was a director DRDL. And he spoke about vacuum in aerospace, vacuum in aviation. On June 18th of 1991, he delivered a speech in Convention Center at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. He spoke 2 hours about the vacuum in aviation. And we had a indigenization percentage of single digit, double digit of import. And those days about the Kiran aircraft, you may be knowing the Kiran. When we are seeing the Aero India, Aero Show and all the color powder போட்டுட்டு போகுமே aeroplanes. அந்த flight தான் நம்ம இந்தியாவில் ஒரு highly populated aircrafts. Those days it was 600 plus aircrafts. It was manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited before 60s. Under the license of British Aviation System, BAE Systems. In 1991 or 92, they stopped supporting these spares. So that time, Dr. Kalam mentioned about the one particular cockpit seal, rubber seal was required for the Indian aircraft, and it's unable to fly for want of the cockpit seal. It's going to be AOG like that. Then I inspired and I met him and I discussed with him, and I spent around 3.5 years to get my first product certified. Really, the journey is big only, but it's a safe journey. Safe. Still now I am supplying the parts to Indian Air Force and the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, even after 25 years. So, my dear friends, please join. Please come to aerospace and defense. There is ample opportunities available. Presently, we reached the goal of 40%. 40% we indigenized. Still 60% vacuum is available. Every year we are spending around 75,000 crores for importing the raw material, importing the spares, importing the LRUs, and getting the service from the abroad industry. So it is a great opportunity for Indian SMEs. Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister created the Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and retaining the Indian companies, banning the imports. So less than 150 crores, the PSUs cannot import anything. So they need to source within our country. 1 minute, I want to show the slide also. I started in a micro industry. Initially, the investment of 7-8 lakhs, I created the industry. Presently, we are having 3 manufacturing setup, one in Salem and another 2 in Hosur. 600 workmen are working with our factory, and we are having the 5-year vision plan. These are all just time. I can share the presentation to all the members. And we are having the business module like this. We are having the military aviation and civil aviation and the defense machine capability. So 2000 we started entering into mechanical components making it, sir. We have CNC machines, VMC machines, press tool components and all. We are having 25,000 part numbers duly certified by Semilac, DGCA and Boeing also. From 2021, we are a tier 1 supplier for Boeing. So Boeing, we started working with Boeing for the past 10 years back as a tier 2, tier 3 like that. Now we grown qualified as a tier 1 supplier. And last year we got qualified by Airbus also. These are all our setups, sir. That I don't want to elaborate about this. It's a great learning, sir. Aerospace is a great learning. So rightly, Mr. Ravi Shankar told about his capability of forging and all. Here I want to say something about the forging. Sir, the forging still for making the metallic components, 99% we are importing only, sir. All the raw materials, including bar stock, forged material and all, still as of now we are importing. Only the aluminum alloy, some quantity that Zindal, JSW, they indigenous. And we are unable to make any forged material. Let us super alloy forge can enter into the segment. They can import the ingots of aerospace graded quality material. They can import and they can do the forging in India with the specification, respective specification. Certainly you are able to get the qualification. Then there is an ample requirement. We can indigenous. Only the government company, Midani Aerospace is there in Hyderabad. DRDO, they've developed a small lab. The Midani, they cannot meet the requirement of whole Indian requirement. They may be meeting at least 10 to 15% of Indian requirement. 85% still we are importing only. And recently, last year, we acquired Taneja Aerospace and Aviation Limited, the Hosur-based company, who is making the aeroplanes. So we purchased the manufacturing setup of Taneja, and they were into this field for 5 verticals: precision engineering, sheet metal capability, and making the composite facility, painting booth, and the chemical processing. All the process and all now we are taking care of our Belagondapalli projects. And the certification, the quality here, the quality is very important, sir. It is not like the following the quality alone. We need to get certified. So there are first certification, passport is AS 9100D. 9100D is mandatory for entering into aerospace. And particularly there is ISO 9000, ISO 14000, ISO 45000 and NATCAP certification and PRI qualification. All these type of qualifications are required. So after getting the certification, and the customer also is going to evaluate the processes, and we need to get the certification from customers like Boeing, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, Eaton Aerospace and all the other companies. They will come and audit at any time, and we need to keep all the records ready for their references and all, sir. But it is a good journey and it's a safe journey. I want to say it's a safe journey. We are making around 2 million parts every year, and these are all some of the parts, sir. It looks like very, very common. Elbow is a common. Already Super Alloy Forge is making big elbows. This is very, very small elbows. But the quality and the raw material and all the traceability should be available for the period of 25 years. We need to keep the document for 25 years. These are all some of the parts, 5-axis, rubber parts. But I'm not an aeronautical engineer. I am after all rubber technologist. I started this industry for making the only rubber parts. Now we are having 6 verticals with us. All these parts are Pratt & Whitney engines, GE, and that is the typical cross-sectional view of cockpit seal. Cockpit seal is taking care of the cabin pressure at the elevated height of 40-50,000 feet. When the aircraft is going above 40,000 feet, the cabin pressure has to be maintained. So we are the second company, globally we are the second company making the cockpit seal for our Indian requirements. And I am very proud to claim that all the aircraft flying in our Indian skies having our cockpit seal. You name any aircraft. It may be Kiran, Jaguar, IJT, MiG-21, MiG-27, Sukhoi, Hawk, helicopters like advanced light helicopter, light combat helicopter, light utility helicopter, and the upcoming whatever this thing, we are only making the cockpit seal. These are all manufactured in our Salem capacity, manufactured by the IITians and the Indian Institute of Science graduates only having our, their people are making the product. All are ITI people, all are ITI, no IITian, no Indian Institute of Science people, only workman people, we train them. And friends, I want to say, recently we created the Skill Development Center in our Salem facility. First batch is coming out of, coming in the month of March 2024. And when they are coming out immediately, we are giving 1 year training for them and we are appointing them in our factory itself. Every year we are recruiting 60 students. 60 students of 10th and 12th to pass only. We are not going to take ITI, we are not going to take diploma holders. We are training them. We formed a special syllabus and it got duly certified by National Small Industries Corporation, and we got the National Skill Development also approved our syllabus. Now we started recruiting the boys and girls. 60, one batch is 30. And here, okay, I will tell you that point. So this is a cockpit seal. These are all some of the, I want to complete this slide because it's my mind, different types of parts, sir. We have around 25,000 part number. These are all LRUs. You can see the lubrication oil pump. It's a totally designed and developed by us with the consultation of Indian Institute of IIT Madras. So Dr. Singaperumal and team, they supported me for developing the lubrication oil pump. And this hydraulic hoses and all we are doing, this cowling assembly, this is a world only, we are 2 sources, one in UK and second source is us. And we are exporting this product. And these are all Ayuba system, or water, this thing, that isolator. And here I want to say something about that. We are Sona morning, Mr. Diagu sir explained about these motors and all. The motors was design given by Sona, manufactured in aerospace only. Like that, we manufactured 40 more parts for the Chandrayaan. And this upcoming, every launches, we need 40%, 40 products of our product. Every launches of ISRO and even that is Skyroot technology, Agnikul, all the people, they are using our facility for making the isolators. That vibration isolator is the isolator. It's a shock absorber for all the rockets. Either GSLV or PSLV or whatever it may be, on our given isolator, they are making the rockets. It goes up to 3rd orbit of every launches. So every launch, they need around 3,000 to 4,000 numbers of isolators. And this is the missile. Recently, it was an order given by PM CARES. It's a special order. It's not a regular route. PM CARES given a special order for making 200 bombs. This bombs goes up to 2,000 kilometer speed. It's going to be tested with the Sukhoi aircraft and with the wing of 3.2 meter wing without rocket motor. Inside there is no rocket motor. It's only actuator system. This whole mechanical assembly manufactured by our Hosur plant. And these are all missile direction control unit and the roller lifter assembly. We are making this type of assemblies for the civil engine manufacturing companies in the United States of America. And this our recent, last year we secured an order for active antenna array unit for our Embraer aircraft. We received around 12 aircraft. First aircraft we recently completed the delivery. And this type of radome also we are making, SATCOM radome for all the unmanned vehicle, Rustam, Tapas and other aircraft using our this thing. And these are all the products we are exporting to Boeing, composite part for missile, BrahMos, Akash, like that. And every BrahMos we are having 800 components of our product. And during the pandemic period, we were all working for 24/7. We got a special order from PM CARES. And for making 46 components of 30,000 ventilators, we were working. And within 4 months, we completed the delivery, sir. And this type of certification is required, sir. You can see Harishankar, sir. This type of NATCAP certification is required. So when we are having the NATCAP certification for our hydraulic systems, hydraulic product, automatically any company can, guys, sir. We need not go for any marketing. So the aerospace is a secured one. And as long as we are having the valid certification, So we are going to get the RFQs from unknown sources also. So in their website, they are putting our name and putting the serial, they are putting the serial numbers of the approved items. Automatically, we are getting the RFQs. So we are not knowing any companies in Indonesia, we are getting the RFQ after seeing this NADCAP certification. So then automatically we can quote our rate and we can supply the material like that. So it's a safe market. Initial may be like jackfruit, it may be initial problem, but the secured market. But we, as long as we are following the quality, we are following the systems, airport is a safe market, safe environment. That's what I want to say. These are all the products. These are all these SPMs we are making for our production, enhancing the production, these things. And these another certification from PRI, performance review. These are all tough. Performance review, a NADCAP certification, just like that we cannot get like ISO and other these things. We need to create, we need to establish our quality requirements, quality testing and all in-house capability. In-house capability we need to create, sir. This type of T-slats, AS certification. Flexer test, all the testing facility we created in-house, sir. And it's duly certified by 17025 NABL. And we have this type of certification. Customer certification also, ITSO, DGAQ, Semilac, more than 122 rubber compounds we are having the IP, intellectual property rights. So our IP is hold good for supplying whole African continental, Middle East country, Western country, even some of US companies also they are accepting our Semilac certification. These are all the NADCAP for our future, this thing. And last year, 2 years back, we created a separate division called Autonomous Underwater Division. And we successfully developed our vehicle. It goes up to 300 meters in the deep sea and took instant pictures and sending to the seashore. And last month, it was launched by the chairman DRDO at Calcutta. He named as Nirakshi. Nirakshi is our underwater vehicle. That is the need of the hour now. First of its kind in our Indian defense. So this sonars and all, it's giving the pictures. It's a chairman DRDO. We launched the Nirakshi at GRSC Harbor, sir, Calcutta Sea. Another loyal wingman technology. We started our career, aviation career with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Presently, we are having the customer base like this. And we are happy sharing with you. Recently, we secured an award from our Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. And we received around 3 national awards from our Honorable Prime Minister of India. And so far, we received around 18 national awards for our various activities. This is a Boeing award we recently secured. I started this industry in 1988 onwards. 1988 onwards, I entered into indigenous development cell of BHEL and NTPC. Through that, I developed some around 200, 300 components. That time, there is no thrust by the government in the Make in India like that. After 2014, we got a thrust of Make in India, and we are getting very good thrust from the government. They are supporting like anything for our Indian, retaining the business within India and the sourcing in India. It is an opportunity, my dear friends. Please come to aviation and defense sector, and we can do many things, and we can retain the money within our country. We need not send our money goes to this thing. And here I want to say something about personal. See, why I am inviting you? You are all my family. This thing, my family, my own industrial family. So my dream is I want to create a manufactured 10-seater and 20-seater aircraft in India. 10 or 20-seater aircraft in India. That too in Tamil Nadu. being a first generation entrepreneur, I am not having a big money with me. I want your support. If you are making a product under risk sharing partner module, we can manufacture the aircraft in Tamil Nadu, we can keep the aircraft in Tamil Nadu, we can fly the aircraft in Tamil Nadu, keep the name as a TAN jet, Tamil Nadu jet, like that. We are having designed the aircraft, and I am having one aircraft available in Salem. 9-seater aircraft, I am having one aircraft available in Salem. Recently we fabricated, it's not going to fly. 9 aircraft, 1:1 model we created, and it's open for my skilled students. And parallelly we are creating some GSLV, PSLV also. Even Chandrayaan also, shortly we are going to keep in our Salem Aero Park, Salem. And if you are sharing that, if you are coming and joining with us for the risk sharing partner module, within 2-3 years we are able to produce one flight. We are having the design with us. The cluster model, it's a bad in Tamil Nadu or India, but the cluster model is very good in world. Even our Airbus industry, Airbus is not a single industry, Airbus is a cluster. 43 small industries, small medium sector, they are making the product. Airbus is only assembling the aircraft. அதனால் தயவு செஞ்சு நீங்கள் எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு என்ன இதில் ஏவியேஷன், இட்ஸ் நாட் அ டஃப். பிக் பிரதர்ஸ் லைக் சூப்பர் ஆட்டோ ஃபோர்ஜ் அண்ட் அசோக் லேலண்ட், வி கேன் ரெக்வஸ்ட் தெம். வி cannot get very big business, but we are having a safe business. You see our Tata Group, they are earning from TCS and they are investing in the infrastructure. See, now the Tata is having all the manufacturing capability created in India by Tata. With Airbus, Tata Boeing, Tata Lockheed Martin, Tata Eaton, all the facility they created in Hyderabad and Bangalore, and we are going to manufacture all the flights in India. Because of the Tata, like that the big brothers can think about something of 5% or 10%. சார் உங்கள்கிட்ட நான் வந்து நிறைய இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்க, அப்படியே டைவெர்ட் பண்ணுங்கன்னு நான் சொல்லலை. சூப்பர் ஜோபர் டூயிங் 1400-1500 crore, you can invest at least 20-50 crore. 50 crore you can invest for aerospace sector and defense sector. Let us spend some 2-3 years. Certainly you are going to, that 50 years will yield you 500 crores in another 4 or 5 years. The period, the finance people are telling ROI, return on investment, like that. I am not a highly educated man. Return on investment may be 24 months or 36 months. Certainly you are going to get the yield. It's not going to be wasted. Because you are going to train the people. You are going to train the people. You can create an ecosystem in Tamil Nadu. Then automatically, certainly we are going to rule whole world. So I am having one small calculation. It's a real calculation. The calculation was made by Airbus. Airbus, they calculated around 3,000 flights are required for Indian requirement. I am not talking about the big flights, small flights of 10-seater, 20-seater, 25-seaters. So 20-seater like segment, small segment flights are required for India in another 10 years. See, we can fly from Chennai to Ulundurpet, Chennai to Viluppuram, Chennai to Trichy, or small place like Chennai to Vellore, like that, small segment. The flight can fly about 4 hours, sir. 4 hours we can travel easily 2,000 kilometers. And under Udan scheme, there is, I think the charges also very, very less, lower charges. Government is supporting like anything. So think about joining into aerospace, because the union government, central government, expecting that only they created the Tamil Nadu Defense Corridor. அதை எய்ம் பண்ணி தான் தமிழ்நாடு டிஃபென்ஸ் காரிடார் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க. When Nirmala Sitharaman Madam was Defense Minister, she needs 1,000 industries should come for the Tamil Nadu corridor-நாங்க. ஒரு 1000 கம்பெனி, புது கம்பெனி வரணும், 1000 industries should come and enter into defense corridor-நாங்க. தயவு செஞ்சு you think, you come and enter into aerospace and defense, certainly we can rule the world, sir. 2,500 aircraft கணக்கு பண்ணிங்கன்னா it's around 60,000 crore business. 60,000 crore business in another 7-8 years. You think about that. It's a good, safe business. So every year we can do around 6,000 to 7,000 crore business making the aircraft. And parallelly, the life of the aircraft is 25 years. Automatically MRO business irukku. So when you are making 2,500 aircraft, we need to continue hold the aircraft for another 20-25 years. So my dear friends, it's a safe journey. தாராளமா தைரியமா உள்ள வாங்க. ஒரு portion, big brothers and all, you can take one small portion, you can divert it for aerospace and defense segment. You are not going to lose anything. Okay? ஸோ ஐ எம் ஓப்பன் ஃபார் இன்ட்ராக்ஷன். இந்த பிரேக் டைம் எந்த டைமில் வேணாலும் சொல்லுங்கள். நான் என்னோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு சொல்கிறேன். Being a NIQR, you can organize for the certification process also, sir. CEMILAC is open for certification. We can request CEMILAC. CEMILAC is the nodal agency to give the certification of the flying part. Center for Military Airworthiness certification to ஒரு agency இருக்கு. It comes under DRDO. They are all openly coming and they are ready to give the lectures, ready to give the procedure, how the procedure is அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் சொல்லி தராங்க. It's a great opportunity. Our government also interested to retain the banning the import. They don't want to import many things. So think twice. குள்ள வாங்க. அதுக்கு ஒரு சுயநலம் மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும் ஏரோஸ்பேஸ்க்கு கூப்பிட்றான்ட்டு. பட் இட்ஸ் குட் ஃபார் அவர் நேஷன் அண்ட் குட் ஃபார் அவர் entrepreneurs. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Check. Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, sir, Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy, for your excellent rendering of speech. First of all, let me tell you that it was very interesting from making aerospace parts to making an aircraft and making sure that there is an ROI for your investment. The first time he's connected from product development to finance to ROI. Now, coming to aerospace, there are many people who met Abdul Kalam. They got inspired, but didn't do anything after that. But Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy met Abdul Kalam, got an idea, got inspired, implemented, and is mentioning about Abdul Kalam even today. That's gratitude. Now, starting in a small town, Salem, and then moving on to Hosur, from being a tier 2 vendor to becoming a tier 1, it's a demanding and very passionate journey. To say that I make around 2 million parts, all very small components, where the traceability is for 25 years. Why 25 years? It's because the life of the aircraft is for 25 years. And to say that the cockpit seal is all made by me and being very proud about it. Another great initiative is to look at the young Indians, which we've all been talking about, people who pass their 10th and 12th, who can get skilled and probably can get an employment in his company or in other companies. Also looked at certification, the testing facility, and also from aerospace, he's also looked down to look at undersea system, and he's got global customers. Winning several national and international awards, he's made India flag fly high, and finally he ended up saying that the next NIQR conference can be held by all of you coming and landing in the 10-seater or the 20-seater aircraft. Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy. So he's so happy that the next conference is going to be so many landing of 10-seater and 20-seater. So the final speaker is going to be Dr. Murugan Amrithalingam. Sir, they're all eagerly looking forward to your 3D on Agnikul. Please mention something about that.
Sir, I'm not going to talk about Agnikul's work because when the NIQR chairpersons called me to give a success story, I thought, okay, I can give a much more bigger success story what we had in academic institute over the last 2.5 years. So therefore, no Agnikul. Agnikul, we do a lot of 3D printing work on rocket engines parts, and testing in our labs, so on and so forth. But that is for other day. So today, in fact, I was a bit worried. Generally, when I was called for a talk to given in a conference, I have a dubious honor of giving first talk after lunch. It's very difficult for me to manage. But today, that honor was shared by a couple of eminent speakers, and then they made my job very easy so that I can focus on my talk. Thank you, Mr. Ravi Shankar and Mr. Sundaram, for inspiring talk. So this presentation I wanted to make on some of our recent work on 3D printing of maxillofacial reconstructive implants for post-COVID black fungus infected patients. So in academic research, we call one term called serendipity, right? So serendipity means you do something, but you end up using it for something else. So that is all the academic research is about. So this work is a classical example of serendipity for us. Because in 2019, before pandemic started, we were not aware of what is COVID and all the black fungus and things like that. So there was a call from Department of Science and Technology on additive manufacturing in collaboration with Norwegian institutes. So I have good friends in Norway. So then I talked to them, a couple of institutes. So they came up with one interesting topic of 3D printing of maxillofacial reconstructive implants. So these implants are used for patients that time, before COVID generally. So when some patients meet accidents, then facial bones are broken and has to be reconstructed, or some tumors, okay, cancers, the facial structures are removed, and then we'll have to reconstruct. Trust me, I was not even aware what was the term, the maxillofacial reconstructive implants. So my colleagues from Norway, they were extensively working on dental implants. The couple of institutes, you see, University of Stavanger and NIQR, which I listed there, Nordic Institute for Dental Materials or Orthodontic Materials. So that's a certification agency for dental implants in Nordic countries. So I got a couple of friends there, because I work on 3D printing from my PhD times. So there is a mutual collaboration, and we wrote this project without knowing that we are going to use that extensively post-COVID. Okay, so but how the work which we started in 2019 is extensively used now, and you can understand how this serendipity happened. Because before we started this work, we were not aware what was stored immediately 1 year after we started this project. But because of our 1 year research, we could be prepared, and then we are now here with a lot of success stories, which I wanted to share over the next 10-15 minutes. Okay, so again, some of my students who carry out this work for us, collaborators, and of course, thank to all the God-sent surgeons who help our poor patients in this surgery. Right, so these are my outline. The introduction of IIT Madras, Professor Kama gave this morning about our research, our startups, various work what we carry out. I'll skip. So one introduction about the technique itself, one of the 3D printing methods what we use in manufacturing the maxillofacial reconstructive implants. And I'll also talk about why we need this implant, so especially post-pandemic situation. And these implants, almost all of them, just before our work, are imported. Extremely expensive, and these are patient-specific. So that means that it has to be made, tailor-made for individual person. So therefore, it's extremely expensive. And how we are actually doing academic research in collaboration with other industries. For example, the Zoriax Innovation Lab, so one of the startups started by surgeons. We are actually helping them and to print and manufacture these implants, and they actually take care of the certification and qualification part. And then some case studies I'll discuss about how we are saving lives. Okay, so that's the outline of the presentation, what I talk about here. So first, the technique itself. So 3D printing is a buzzword. All of you are already aware of the term 3D printing. So in this process, okay, so we join materials layer by layer to produce a final induced part directly from design data. So there is no part-specific tooling. For example, forging, so we need a forging punch and die. Similarly, all other materials require a part-specific tooling. But here, we directly produce induced component from its design data. So there are main attributes. It's a fully automated process, digital to physical happens without any part-specific tooling. And we see a lot of connection between welding and joining, between 3D printing, because metal additive manufacturing, nothing but multi-pass welds. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about this technique itself. So why this 3D printing is interesting, right? So I put up this slide. I also teach this extensively, but to summarize quickly, so we see, okay, RRR. Okay, it's not a movie RRR. It's a reduce, reuse, and recycle. So all three can be achieved extensively by 3D printing, right? So some of the parts I show over here, engineering components, right? I'll skip that because time is limited. We'll concentrate only on, say, for example, the timely and customized healthcare, which is the topic of this presentation. So I show one picture, what is known as a cranioplastic implant for cranioplastic surgery. So any head injury requires a careful manipulation of cranial part, and the surgeon immediately removes the cranial part to release the pressure, right? So, and then subsequently we need to make an implant. But these implants are extremely complex to make. Okay, generally we make it with titanium, Ta64, or with polymer implants as well, PMMA, but mostly with the Ta64. But the realization of this part in time is very critical, right? So it is impossible to produce those implants within the given time, which is required for patient to immediately bring back to its normal life. So 3D printing, because we print directly from design. So once, say for example, MRI data, CT data is available, okay, we can manipulate the data into a CAD file, and then CAD file can be further sliced and then printed within 3 to 4 hours of an MRI data. Okay, so therefore the 3D printing becomes extremely interesting, and we need to realize those implants within a short period of time to save lives. So that's the story. So therefore the additive manufacturing or 3D printing really comes in handy in this situation. But the problem with these implants, if you look at, almost all of them, okay, so right now we are importing. There are only barely 1 or 2 players who manufacture implants in India, especially the patient-specific implants, so which are very unique. For example, the earlier slide I showed the cranioplastic implant, so we cannot just go and buy in off the shelf, right? Because each one of us have unique features. So it has to be tailor-made directly from its, say, CT data or MRI data. So there is no lead time at all, right? So we cannot keep the patient in coma forever. We'll have to get an implant quickly so that the surgery can be completed and patient can walk out. So therefore, the extremely important that platinum hour can be brought when we suppose if we realize the implant within no lead time. So there are enormous amount of design complexities, which will come back to that in next. And most of the materials what we use for additive implant, they are all extremely poor to manufacture, being a machinability, okay, formability, okay, oxidation characteristics, all of them. So it is very difficult to use those materials in a conventional manufacturing, right? So therefore, the additive manufacturing comes into really handy. But then, okay, where is the technology, right? So there are no real manufacturing methods, 3D printing methods that are currently available all over the world wide. So that is the reason why we started this project in 2019, okay, to realize specifically the facial reconstructive implants, okay? Because these implants are not affordable at all, because it is unique to individual face. And if you look at implant cost, just listed over here, it will cost something from 7 to 45 lakhs, okay, one implant, if you look at. So it is impossible for a common person to afford this implant, and he has to live, or he or she has to live with mutilated face forever, right? So we started first work with very simple implants of cranioplastic implant. So in 2019, when we started this work, okay, so we already have established some methods using design-based algorithms to convert a patient's MRI or CT data into an actual implant design, right? So just before pandemic, we were completing this work of getting the actual design of the implant from the data, right? So, and then subsequently, we could also print some of the polymer parts for the cranioplastic implants and titanium parts, very simple implants in the cranioplastic surgery. But when you look at somewhat more even complex implants, so this slide shows one of our recent efforts on manufacturing a femoral implant for a 12-year-old girl. Right, so this 12-year-old girl was suffering from a very rare form of cancer, and her femoral, one of the legs bone was completely dissolved. Okay, so he could not even stand up. Very poor girl near Chengalpattu. So then doctors from MMC and Ramachandra Hospital, orthos, they approached us because they already aware that we were doing some work on that, and this happened just at the end of pandemic 2021. And the algorithms what we developed for a cranioplastic implant was already became very handy for this case, where we could generate the patient data immediately from the CT, but we can't take any design from one of our legs where it is actually reused. We'll have to take it from other leg, we'll have to do a mirror image, and then construct the design, and then subsequently we could print within 1 month what the implants, what you see over here. And of course, thanks to Super Forge, they also helped us machining and finishing this implant for that girl, 12-year-old girl. But again, the challenge was here, it is extremely modular. If you see the implant, what I show over here, so left side implant is actual designed implant. But then on the theater, only on the theater, the orthos, doctors come to know about what is the length of the implant they need. Because you may do CT, but nothing is there, it's all dissolved. So the oncologist suggests the ortho doctors about the length of the insertion they'll have to make, right? So, but if you can design the implant, but then at the theater, on the table, if the implants are not suitable, so what do? Okay, implants may not be used, right? So they also asked us to make a modular implants, and which also we can make it. So for example, the other sides of the implants also with an extension. Suppose a girl, that cancer already spread within a month. So we can also attach an additional, the length extension, and the implants can be made. These are called modular implants. These implants, would cost up to 50 lakhs if you are importing. The poor girl could not manage, right? So finally, we could realize it thanks to 3D printing, because we don't use any tooling, right? So we can straight away from design to final print implant, we could make it. Coming back to the actual story about the topic, what we are going to cover. So almost all of us must have heard about the black fungus infection, So mucormycosis, technically it's known as. It's a deadly infection. This black fungus was predominantly affecting the patients who are actually hospitalized for long duration in ICUs, right? And this is primarily coming from the air conditioning infection. Once this black fungus infection, gets in, because patients are already subject to a lot of steroids, right? So some of you must have experienced as well. So this black fungus infection, the moment it gets into the mouth, it starts eating the bones in the facial structure. You see, this is one of the actual tomo of a patient with the infection. You see, the side bones are completely eaten away, right? So the best way to keep the patient alive is to completely remove the part of the infected bone. That means that patient loses entire the face structure, including the teeth and everything. And this is the same patient after the black fungus, removal in the face structures, right? So completely it's gone. So it is said that, this data in 2021, Times of India published, there are about 60,000 official recorded black fungus patients in few states in India. But actual data goes more than 1.75 lakhs. Right, so these people, these patients, they were all living without teeth, without any part of the facial structure, face mutilated, I may see that, they're living. The problem with these kind of patients, reconstruct surgery is, you can't buy these implants off the shelf, because there is no real unique, okay, implants or facial structures what we have. So each implant has to be designed and produced for a patient specific. So then, thanks to our algorithm, we already got it in 2019 when a doctor from the Zodiac Innovation Lab, Dr. Karthik, came to us. Sir, we'll have to do something for these patients because we cannot place an order somewhere in Switzerland and get these implants made by an individual patient. It may cost something like 10 lakhs. Nobody can use it. So then we modified the algorithm so that we can use those algorithms to design implants for these patients. Right? So this is the same patient what I showed in the earlier slide. The implants were designed and printed in our lab. Okay? And a couple of case studies, I will just do the Chairman, and then I'll finish it off in 5 minutes. So one such patient, okay, so was living in a very remote place close to Palani. Right? Palani, the temple town. Not even a Palani, a neighboring village. One girl of 26 years old, she was about to get married. Okay, during pandemic, marriage stopped, and then she got infected with black fungus. She lost completely her face. Marriage stopped, and she was under tremendous psychological pressure. So then she went to a clinic to one of the doctors. I'm just getting a picture, Dr. Vimal Kumar. So doctor looked at, and then it was already, she was having a lot of infections. So immediately, doctor did surgery to remove the infected part. She lost completely her face. Okay, so nothing could be done, and this doctor suggested a big hospital in Coimbatore, but hospital was saying that these implants have to be implanted. It would cost at least 15 lakhs. So they were all farming coolies, okay, parents. So they came back to town, and they really did not meet the doctor again, Dr. Vimal Kumar. Later, Dr. Vimal Kumar, while inquiring, he found that that girl, about to commit suicide. She attempted 2 times. She was under tremendous pressure. So then, luckily, Dr. Vimal Kumar was friend of a doctor who's the Zodiac Innovation Lab where we are helping. So Dr. Karthik called us. So can we do something for this girl? Okay, certainly we can do. So we got the CT of the girl. Okay, we designed the implant. Okay, we printed the implant in IIT Madras. We gave to Dr. Vimal Kumar. And she got her entire face and teeth back, and she got married. Okay, so, and she's living happily. I'm just finishing. Okay, yes. Right, so again, serendipity, right? So one more case study, and then let's quickly find it up. So this is another patient. I'm intentionally hiding the face because the patient is known to me. So when I was making a presentation about technical part of it, not the one what I'm presenting now in Hyderabad. So one of the professors who was working in Nujivid, one institute, he came to me, sir, my uncle is also suffering. He lost majority of the face. The problem with him is he lost almost entire face, including one of the eyes have to be removed because to keep him alive, the eye socket, the bone which is supporting the eye is also completely eaten away by the black fungus. So he lost completely everything, and he was not eating for last 1.5 years. Even if he drinks, it comes out elsewhere in the cavity, in eye cavity. So he was literally on liquid diet for a whole 1 year. So that professor came to me, sir, can you again help? So we brought him from Hyderabad. Okay, so we treated him, and these are implants designed by us, and we printed. So right now, what you see, other picture is post-rehabilitation. Right, he got complete implant. And we brought the smile back again by this technique. Okay, so these are some of the implants. Okay, we have designed and printed in collaboration with Zodiac's Innovation Lab. And the other case as well, the facial reconstructive surgeries for accidental trauma. Right, so I'll just skip because of time. Some implants. So what I wanted to conclude over here is, so this technique, even though we started for something else, and serendipitously, it is helping us to restore the identity by additive manufacturing, and we are starting a new initiative, hashtag Right to Face. So we identify poor people who cannot afford these implants. Okay, so we print, okay, we process it, make it ready to be implanted to a patient's face, and we are giving free of cost, thanks to various funding agencies who are working. Especially our institute, IIT Madras, recently we got IOE tag, Institute of Eminence, so there is generous funding available, and of course DST, RCN as well. And of course, I'm also welcoming you to join to help these poor people. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Dr. Murugan Amrithalingam. It was a terrific presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, look at your watch. It's 3:30 now. We've concluded just on time. Just want to add a few lines, and if possible, we can take one or two questions. He had actually told you about 3D printing layer by layer. That's how it's done. And to look at the medical benefits of 3D printing, it was amazing. Restoring someone's face, giving them an organ, making people live with pride. All these have been done through 3D printing. Like he said, it's a very patient-specific implant. Therefore, time is the essence, which means it has to be done in hours or minutes, and they've done it. And it's not something common to everybody. For every patient, they'll have to tailor-make. And what's great and innovative about 3D printing that they've done is the modular implants, where sometimes the sizes don't fit, and we end up spending more time in making a new implant. So it's a modular implant. And thank you, sir. And you also spoke about the black fungus. Because of time scarcity, I need to end up here. But just in case we can have one or two questions, then my speakers can take them all. Someone can take the mic up. If there's anybody who can raise your hand.
If you have any doubts or if you want to ask anything, you can utilize this moment. Mic is there on the end of the row. All right. So thank you so much for this incredible session. Now it's the time to honor our chairperson and speakers. Please have a big round of applause. We are in the final of our 5th session. So now our session coordinator, Mr. Ratna Sabhavadi, will honor our session chairperson, Mr. C. Sivakumar. Please have a big hands for them. Next, we will honor our speakers. So, our chairperson, Sivakumar sir, will honor our speaker, Mr. S. Ravishankar sir. So now it's time to honor our next speaker, Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy. Now we will honor our next speaker, Mr. Sundaram Ramaswamy. Please have a warm round of applause for Ramaswamy sir. So next it's time to honor our last speaker, Dr. Murugan Amrithalingam sir. Please have a big kaidatal for him. so much, sir. Thanks a lot. So, our fifth session is completed. Now, I would like to invite our National President of NIQR, Mr. Murli Shankar, sir, on the stage to felicitate our sponsors. Please have a big round of applause.